I was brushing my hair before heading out, soft silver strands falling forward, and my glasses slipped again, landing right at the edge of my nose. When I looked up, there it was, that round face, that flat hair, and those wide frames that seemed to push everything outward. I didn't feel like myself. I just felt off. If you've got a round face and you wear glasses, you know the struggle. The wrong bob haircut can make your cheeks look puffier, your features blurrier. Add the wrong glasses, and suddenly, everything feels heavier. But the right bob haircut for a round face after 60, it doesn't just sit there. It reshapes, it lifts, it frames. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about choosing a cut that works with your features, not against them. Especially if you've already embraced your silver and you want your face and your glasses to shine. I've tried so many cuts over the years. The chin-length blunt bob that made my face look like a perfect circle. The too short pixie that clashed with my bold red frames. And that one time I let it grow out just to see, and ended up with what my daughter kindly called a triangle helmet. None of them felt quite right. Then I realized this isn't about hair alone. It's about balance. When your bob, your glasses, and your face shape work together, that's when everything clicks. That's when people stop asking, "Did you do something new?" and start saying, "You look like you." So if you've been wondering which bob hairstyles work best with glasses on a rounder face, I've got you. We're not just naming cuts. We're showing you what actually works for women like us after 60. Stick around. You might find your next favorite cut today. Style 1. The slimming bob with angled layers. This bob starts at the nape and angles forward, with longer pieces framing the jawline. It's not harsh. It's not overly dramatic. But it quietly carves structure into a soft, round face. It's one of the best bob haircuts for round faces over 60, especially if you wear glasses with some weight to them. What it does is simple. It draws the eye downward and adds gentle vertical lines. Instead of emphasizing the width of your face, this angled bob creates balance. If you pair it with slightly lifted roots or a subtle side part, you get even more contour, without makeup, without fuss. And if your glasses are bold, square, or oversized, this bob doesn't fight them. It lets them sit confidently while softening everything else around them. Linda, a friend of mine, wore the same chin-length blunt bob for nearly 15 years. She also wore perfectly round glasses, large ones with a gold rim. It was her signature look. But one day, during a routine trim, her stylist shifted the angle just slightly, trimming the back a bit shorter and leaving the front to graze her cheekbones. That tiny change? Her whole face lifted. The glasses didn't look like shields anymore. They looked like an accessory. She called me later and said, "I didn't know I had cheekbones." Sometimes we think we need a drastic makeover, but more often than not, it's about a half-inch here, a soft curve there, and when you're over 60, those tiny changes, they matter more. They honor what your face has been through and what it still wants to express. This angled bob isn't edgy. It's graceful, intentional, and yes, slimming in the best, most natural way. But if you're looking for something softer, a little more airy, especially if your hair is fine or flat, the next bob might surprise you. Style 2. The feathered bob with volume at the crown. This bob is light. It's layered softly throughout, with feathered ends that lift away from the face. But the magic? It's at the crown, where just a little volume can do more for a round face than any contour stick ever could. For women with fine or flat hair over 60, this cut gives shape without weight. Here's what it fixes: that heavy on bottom, flat on top look that round faces often fall into. especially if you wear large eyeglass frames, which can pull the eye downward. This cut counters that. It brings visual lift back up toward your eyes, where connection happens. It's one of the smartest bob hairstyles for women over 60 with glasses, because it pulls attention to your expression, not just your outline. I once met a woman named Clara at the DMV of all places. She had this stunning feathered bob, silver as moonlight, airy as petals. Her cheeks were full, her face round, and her glasses? Bold, sculpted, unapologetic. But the way her hair lifted at the crown and tapered just below her jaw, she looked luminous. She smiled at me as if to say, yes, this is intentional. Not hiding, not apologizing, just balanced and beautiful. We've been told for decades to tame our hair, to flatten it, smooth it, pull it back. But past 60, a little volume isn't vanity, it's vitality. And when that volume sits right at the crown, it does something powerful. It makes your face look lighter, your glasses look bolder, and your whole presence brighter. Still unsure about layers? There's one classic bob that works even if you've always worn your hair one length, especially if you've never quite liked your forehead. Let's talk about side-swept bangs next. Style 3, the chin-length bob with side-swept bangs. This is one of those cuts that looks effortless, but does a lot of quiet work. The bob sits right at the chin, not too short, not too long. But what changes everything is the side-swept fringe. That diagonal movement across the forehead softens a round face instantly. It breaks up the symmetry and adds a sense of motion, even when you're standing still. It's a go-to bob haircut for round faces over 60, especially for women who want to keep a bit more length while still flattering their glasses. Round faces thrive on asymmetry, little disruptions that add structure. The side-swept bang draws the eye upward and diagonally, which helps reduce the appearance of fullness in the cheeks. It also frames the top of your glasses in a flattering way, especially if your frames are rectangular or oval. Many hairstyles for women over 60 with glasses tend to forget about the bangs, but this one knows better. I remember the day I switched from blunt bangs to a side-swept version. It wasn't a big salon moment, just a quiet Tuesday at my regular place. The stylist said, "Let's try something softer," and combed my fringe to the side instead of trimming straight across. I looked up and something shifted. My glasses suddenly looked like they belonged. My face looked more awake. And my daughter? She asked me if I'd done something new around the eyes. Just a little angle. That's all it took. Sometimes we resist bangs because we've been burned in the past. The toddler trim trauma. The middle school triangle fringe. But side-swept bangs aren't about covering. They're about curving. And when paired with a chin-length bob, they don't hide your face. They sculpt it. But what if you're ready to go even shorter? And maybe a little braver? The next bob is textured, tapered, and quietly bold. Perfect if you want a fresh start without shouting. Let's go there next. Style 4, the textured short bob with tapered ends. This bob is shorter than what many women over 60 think they can pull off. It sits just below the ears, slightly cropped in the back, and the ends are feathered to taper softly along the jawline. There's no heavy line, no helmet shape, just movement, soft edges, lightness. It's a modern, short bob haircut for women over 60, and it's especially flattering on round faces because it creates definition without bulk. Here's why it works. Round faces often come with softness in the cheeks, especially as we age. Big glasses can add to that roundness if your haircut doesn't introduce a contrast. This bob brings in texture, and texture brings energy. Tapered ends keep the cut from sitting flat or wide around the face, which can make a round face appear even fuller. And for those wearing rimless glasses or thinner frames, this cut complements the minimal look perfectly. Elaine, a neighbor of mine, used to keep her hair shoulder length, just in case. Just in case she needed to pull it back. Just in case she regretted cutting it. But it always hung heavy on her round cheeks, and her wire-framed glasses got lost behind the bulk. One summer, during a heat wave, she said, "I'm tired of being careful." She went short, really short, and the change wasn't just practical, it was radiant. Her jawline appeared, her glasses stood out, and she finally saw herself again, not the safe version, but the sharper, freer one. Going short doesn't have to mean going harsh. This bob still feels soft, just in a more intentional, refined way. It says, "I'm not hiding behind my hair anymore. I'm shaping it to fit me now." For many of us over 60, that shift from accommodating to choosing is powerful. So whether you're drawn to softness or structure, bold frames or barely there lenses, what matters most is what surrounds them. And we'll wrap it up with one reminder I've learned again and again. The right bob doesn't compete with your face or your glasses. It completes them. ... When you have a rounder face and you wear glasses, there's a quiet art to getting things just right. Not perfect, not trendy, just right for you. Because the truth is, the best bob haircuts for women over 60 with glasses aren't about following rules. They're about finding balance between softness and structure, comfort and shape, expression and ease. If you've already found your forever bob, tell me about it in the comments. What works, what doesn't, and how you pair it with your frames. Or if you're still searching, let me know which one of these felt most you. And if you want more content like this, gentle, useful, and made for our stage of life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're building a community here, not of women chasing youth, but of women choosing clarity.